You can get it. Marvelous.
Yo, what's good? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. And look. In today's video, we're gonna be going over something really shiesty, y'all. I stumbled upon the gold mine when it comes to OP09 meta reports for this East. This guy literally came up and created his own data charts with what are the best decks currently in the OP09 meta.
You're teasing me, naughty.
So without further ado, I don't even want to hold you guys anymore. I just need to show you guys the sauce. But before we start, I need to tell you guys a couple of things. We're going to be going over what these points are, how he ended up getting these points. We're going to be going through a whole bunch of deck lists. You're going to be going over at least 15 to 20 deck lists for each one of these decks. So if you guys are playing some rogue shit like, I don't know, Bello Betty, R White, Sabo, Blue Yellow Queen, I got you. I always cover the jank. I always cover the jank for my jank players.
Yeah, boy.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to the video. Today, we're here to bring you the sauce. Today, we're here to report the OP09 meta report. Today, we about to spin the block with all the information that this man, the GOAT himself, the Asian Bear, provided for everybody in the One Piece TCG community. Fact, not an opinion. As you can see, we have a whole entire breakdown of all the tournament topping results since its release up till today. This was literally posted 36 minutes ago, and as you guys can see, this Asian Bear has counted over 1,656 tournament results with all of these decks. And before we go over all these decks, like you guys, I didn't know what any of this stuff meant, so we're gonna just go ahead and scroll down here real quick, and we're just going to answer these questions, and then we're going to actually go over results. We're not going to be on this section too long, but you know, I feel like we need to have some good insight in how he gets his data compared to me just reading the stats and saying, hey, it's the best deck, just use it. You know what I mean? So now let's get straight to the frequently asked questions. What does weighted total mean? I believe that it's important to consider all competitive tournaments to get a good idea of the overall meta. However, different tournament styles will often be more or less competitive. By having a weighted point system, it allows me to compensate for the differences in difficulty. So when we look at all this, this is all of the tournaments, but since, like he said, each tournament has a different weighting. Maybe there's a tournament that's 1,000 players compared to a flagship where it's only 5 rounds. He actually has a point weighted system to get the most proper statistic data that we need to see what is the best and popping decks in the OP09 meta. Because just to let you guys know, OP09 is literally less than 2 months away. That shit comes out in December. We're about to be in November, so we're literally a month away. So I think it might be time for us to really tap in and really lock in to see what we should be expecting for the meta, because the meta over there hasn't been solved except for Blue Dofi. Let's keep on reading this right here. Standard battle tournaments and similar difficulty tournaments count for 1 point. Cup style tournaments, which are often 7+ rounds, are 2 points. Flagships will offer very lucrative prizes, and team battles 3v3, 5v5. I never seen anybody with a 5v5, which is crazy, are worth 3 points. September Rand stores qualifiers, which are needed to proceed to the next round of the championship circuit. Winning the tournament ends a leader 5 points. Okay, very large events referred to as area events in the sheet award 7 points for a top 8 finish and 15 points for winning the overall tournament. So these are the big scale tournaments right here. Okay, so these are the biggest ones. These are the ones to get the most points. These are the only tournaments where a top placement is awarded points alongside the tournament winner. As we move into more difficult rounds of large tournaments such as national and worlds, these values will increase. So I'm gonna tell you right now, this guy has done his research when it comes to getting the most proper OP09 meta report. I have never seen anything like this before, and just reading that part, look, this is accurate. This shit's accurate. It's not based off I feel this is going to be good. No one cares what you feel is going to be good. Where's the stats? Where's the data? And this is the data. Okay, he's providing the sauce, and that's what we need right now. This is exactly what we need. Okay, so let's go ahead and get straight into what do the points mean and what do any of these other things mean, because we need to have some good insight on what exactly we are even looking at. Like I said earlier, I just don't want to look at all of the decks and not know what's going on. Okay, so it seems like this guy has really done his research and homework. So let's go ahead and just skim through all these and we can actually go over the decks. And on top of that, he actually has deck lists for everybody. So like I said, we got the sauce, gang. We got the sauce. So it's time for us to keep on going. What does points since last update mean? It just calculates how many points a leader has earned since the last time I made a Reddit post update. I don't post a lot on Reddit outside of these and guides, so you could check my profile for whatever the last time that was. It's a way to measure gains separate from overall points total. So like I said, this guy's doing his research. I feel like this is probably going to be the most accurate OP09 meta report we ever seen in the streets. Fact, not an opinion. Where do I find my data? I check Twitter a lot. I check the hashtag. I'm pretty sure it's like One Piece or something like that. I don't speak Japanese. I wish I would. About once a day, and filter through the ads from card stores. After about a month or so of that, I got the Twitter algorithm to recommend posts that were untagged. I calculate wins if they are shown from a player, card store, or reliable source. So like I said, he's doing his research. This is going to be the most accurate OP09 report we've ever seen. Why didn't you include X Leader? I probably just missed the one. And I'm gonna tell you this before we even talk about X Leader. Bro, if your deck is not in this list, more likely that shit is ass. Okay, that shit is actually dog water. This shit, look, if your leader is not in here, that shit is trash, gang. I mean, it's a pet deck at that point. Okay, you might as well go ahead and put the funky ass sleeves on it, because you're probably gonna be playing that deck at no big scale tournament. Fact, not an opinion. Okay, so that's just what I have to say about this league, because I have a lot of people, even when I do my tiers, how come this wasn't added? Because that shit's cheeks, gang. That shit is actually buns. Okay, and look, I just have to be honest with you. A lot of people ain't honest with you, clearly, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you have a deck list for X Leader? Like I said, if you guys want a deck list for X Leader, you're gonna have to do your research. These are just the shiesty ass lists that he ends up having. And actually, I'll actually have some more lists that I've personally found as well. So don't worry about the deck list. Can you tell me the best matchups? We can't do that. So that's pretty much all the insight on where he gets his data, how he gets his data. And now we're not gonna read this. We'll read this after we read this, but now it's time for us to actually get into the meta report. So based off of all the research he's done, after 1,656 tournaments have been counted, results has been counted, Blue Doflamingo is now weighted at 855 total. Okay, we have to ask you guys at this point, do we need a ban? Do we need a ban of Blue Doflamingo at this point? I mean, when you look at it like this, Blue Doflamingo is just fucking everybody, bitch, bro. Like, do we need a ban list? Let me know below. I personally, maybe it needs a little slap on the wrist, but I still want Doflamingo in the format. Okay, I don't want to just ban the leader. I don't want to like cripple it. I want to get the Lucci effect, so I don't want this getting banned. And just let me know what you guys think. Okay, the next best deck we have right here when it comes just to tournament points is Purple Luffy, coming in at 456 points, which means this is now officially the second best deck out there. I was hearing a lot of people say you know, this deck, you know, Shanks was the second best deck, or Lucci. No, the second best deck officially is now Purple Luffy. So I have to tell you guys this: if you guys are a Purple Luffy player in the OP08, pick up that deck right now. That is the second best deck. If you are looking forward to playing the structure decks coming out, Purple Luffy is definitely the wave to go. I'm not sure what's going to happen to this Blue Doflamingo. It might get packed up. I mean, it's literally outbeating every single deck when it comes to points by over 300 points. So I'm not sure, but if you guys want to play the second best deck, and the main reason I say the second best deck is because usually the second best deck usually doesn't get hit. Maybe it might get hit, but just from this total, I don't know, because everything else looks kind of even, to be honest with you guys. The third best deck is Rob Lucci, sitting at 407. So if you guys are still playing Lucci right now, if you guys are still playing Lucci, go ahead and still play Lucci. It's the third best deck in the OP09 meta. Like I said earlier, it's about to be November next week, which means we only have 1 month left. So it's time to start preparing for OP09, gang. Let's get it. Next best deck is Red Shanks. Very good option. So this is the fourth best deck. Just being able to drop that Gold D Roger to finish game is very, very shiesty as well. Very, very good type of deck. If you're a red player, this will be the best red deck. Okay, the 5th best deck has to be BY Yellow Monkey D. Luffy. Okay, definitely the case. I even hear some people call me Monkey D. Luffy of the One Piece community. I mean, if that's what you guys would have called me, go ahead and call me that. I hear people call me Flacco. I even had some motherfuckers call me Big Daddy. Y'all need to pause.
Cap.
Y'all need to pause. The only one called me Big Daddy is my girl. Fact, not an opinion. All right. So we have 5th, we have Monkey D. Luffy. 6th, we have Jewelry Body. 7th, we have Teach. The only reason why this is so low, Teach is so low, because I've been hearing this deck in Monkey D. Luffy is actually the hardest decks to pilot in the game. That's what I've been hearing in the streets. That's what the streets been clamoring about right now. Black Teach is literally the hardest deck in the blame outside of Monkey D. Luffy. I said blame play. Okay, I am blaming Black Teach because Black Teach literally cancels out every single deck. Hopefully a lot of people don't learn how to play this, because they do. We're gonna be in a skill drain format. The next best deck is Enel YGOD Yellow Ganger Da YGOD. Shout out to all my delinquents. Yellow Enel, I think he's top 10. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8th best deck is Yellow Enel. So I've been hearing a lot of people in the streets asking if Enel's still gonna be solid. He's sitting at 169 points and he's the 8th best deck. The 9th best deck is Purple Black Luffy. I'm actually surprised this is done so bad. Like I said earlier in my King video, I feel like there's something wrong, inherently wrong with the black purple combo. It's like this is supposed to be a crack leader and it's 9th, and the 10th best deck is Red Purple Luffy. Oh my god. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna keep it a stack of you guys. If you guys are a Red Purple Luffy fan, you guys need to start playing with that shit now. Okay, if it was up to me and I have to tell you what decks to really invest in, if you guys want to play something new with the structure decks, Purple Luffy is solid, Blue Doflamingo solid, even Jewelry Bonnie, she ends up getting a boost with the I think it's like the 9-drop or 8-drop Shanks in the structure deck. Very, very solid. And Enel is really, really solid. You can still play right now going into OP09. And Red Purple Luffy, and these other decks are outside of the top 10, so we aren't going to really go over. But we have Blue Nami, Black Smoker, Katakuri, Bello Betty showing up. This is the first time even on this list. Last time there were 0 Bello Betty. If you guys are wondering why Bello Betty has been so solid, it's just for the simple fact that all of the new Rebel support that came in OP09 is very, very shicey. We got Red Zoro, Blue Hancock. This is actually the very first time, you know, the People's deck, the #1 deck of the format, according to the sim, the best deck ever existed according to the sim. It's also its first time on the list as well, sitting at 43 points, so not bad. We have Boa Hancock, Blue Buggy. Now the thing about this Blue Buggy, I'm pretty sure just got released in OP09, you know, the one that literally just puts Doflamingo in check. So I feel like this particular deck is going to have a huge increase just because of that brand new Buggy card that was just released. So really excited to see what that does in the meta. Hopefully this comes to, like, you know, in the top 10. We have Purple Yellow Robin, we have Blue Purple Reiju, we have Green Yellow Yamato, Red Green Law, Purple Yellow Pudding, Blue Yellow Queen, and all these other decks are just decks that, you know, just so happen to top. So these are the rankings. The top 10 is going from Blue Doflamingo all the way down to Red Purple Luffy. Very, very diverse. The only question is, do we hit Blue Doflamingo? Because these points are crazy. You're literally doubling everything else. So I'm not really too sure, but you know, let's go ahead and continue. Let's get into this right here. Hey there, everyone. It's time again for an update for the Easter meta. So like I said earlier, we already know how he ends up getting everything. So this is first, there are 3 leaders getting their first points this week. We already went over those. The Buggy D Freaky promo, that's exactly what I will call it, has been released via Jump. So like I said, this Buggy leader did just, not Buggy leader, this Buggy card did just come out. The one that literally just puts Blue Doflamingo, stops it in its tracks. So we have to see what it's at. Right now we're sitting at 20 points, so hopefully it ends up going up and bringing down these Blue Doflamingos, because I'm gonna be honest with you, Blue Doflamingos actually fucking everybody's bitch right now. Thanks to that, we've seen Buggy get a resurgence in popularity and wins, and I'll be having deck lists as well for all of these top 10 decks as well. So that's what the Freaky Buggy is doing for the deck. Blue Doflamingo continues to do well, though his share of the meta has barely changed. Facts, so we're not even gonna go over that. Other than Doflamingo, BY Luffy has earned the most points this week it is possible that is to counteract the recent rise of Lucci. So that's the only reason why Be Like Luffy is coming up, because Lucci's on the rise as well. Lucci actually stops Doflamingos in his tracks as well. So that's the reason why, if you guys are wondering why Lucci is still a thing, that's the reason why. Purple Luffy and Shanks actually had the same amount of points earned, which is crazy. Bonnie and Lucci continue to see a decent amount of play, with them earning almost the same amount of points. And Teach and Enel have also been seeing more play, though it is less compared to other popular leaders. So these are the deck reports. I was just going to just show you the, you know, like I said, the stats, but since we are only 1 month away, some of you guys don't even want to play OPO 8, so we're going to go straight into One Piece top decks and look at all of the top 1 through 10 decks. And maybe you might have some shicey shit like a Bello Betty in there as well. So I don't think there's anything else we really have to go over. We'll read this. Overall, the meta is kind of in a weird spot. There have been a lot of changes this month, and picking the best leader really depends on local meta more than the usual. But that means we're in a good meta. If you're going to every single local or every single big tournament and it's different every single time, that means we are in a very healthy meta. This is what we call a healthy meta. Okay, so let's go over the deck list here. And he said, oops, I forgot to add some interesting deck lists. So we have some crazy deck lists. Let's go over them real quick. He ends up playing Red Green Law. Honestly, I have to keep it stacked with you. I don't even know what this deck does, and I also don't know why he's running this 4 pudding right here. But this is the Trafalgar Law deck list that people were using even in OPO9 that's doing well. Check that out, copy it if you want. I'm not seeing ratios though. I'm not really seeing ratios, so I'm not sure how that is working. Okay, so as you guys can see, the Red Green Law player has won several tournaments this week. If you guys do want this list, I will be posting his Twitter, his X, such a whack ass name, in the description, so you can check it out for OPO9, so you can start using that shit now if every card is viable and accessible at the moment. Next deck list we're gonna go over is Smoker. This is the deck list for Smoker. Very shiesty ass deck. He got the Geckos, Sabos, Tashigi. Such a great card, just being able to bypass all blanket protection. He has the 2 Kuzans, and it seems like a motherfucker knows what he's talking about. I've been telling you, 2 Kuzans is definitely the way, and this is what this Smoker player is using. He's running the 4 Tashigi, 4 Rebecca, 4 Brooke. I don't even know what this card is. He's running 3 Ice Ages. He's running 4 of this for cost reduction, 2 6 Sakazukis, and 1 Jack. He's only running 1 Jack. So this is the Smoker list, if you guys do want this list. So the next list, so that was the Smoker list. The next list that we end up having is this Nico Robin. Nico Robin hasn't really been doing too much, but a lot of people still like this leader, so we're gonna go over this deck list. We have the Nico Robin, we have the Usops. This is probably one of the most craziest purple cards late game, just being able to rest any blocker and attack for game. This card is really shicey and releases in the structure decks this week. We have the 4 Yamato, we have the 2 Katakuri, we have 4 of this Nico Robin. I feel like this may be a staple in every yellow deck moving forward. Just being able to summon this card and be able to drop off a life card your opponent has on summon is actually crazy. We're still running the Anami. I've noticed that you know, we're not really running the 5-drop Luffy in this deck. We are running the 4 Capone, and he is also running the Gum Giant. I'm telling you right now, this is probably by far the most OP purple card in the game. Fact, not an opinion. If you are playing a purple deck, you need to run this card. Just being able to have a 4K boost and 2 draws, actually insane, and that's the only thing that's really shicey from this deck list. And the last deck list we have is this one right here. I'm gonna tell you right now, no one's really playing Vegapunk. I'm not really gonna go over this because it's not really that viable. It's only viable really against Dofi, just being able to freeze the leader, but besides that, it ain't really doing too much. You guys see everything on the screen. If you guys do want to copy this, I'm not gonna go over it because we still have to go over all of our top 10 decks in the OPO9 meta. So let's go ahead and get straight into that. So I had to make a cut before we started the top 10 decks because I feel like this needs to be said. This deck right here, I feel like may be the counter to Blue Dofi, because like you guys saw in the weighted total, Blue Dofi has the most points by damn near doubling everything else. And I feel like this buggy deck is specifically going to counter this OPO9 Dofi just because of this card right here. If you guys don't know what this card does, it should be on the screen. Pretty much it stops Dofi in his tracks. If you guys do want to try this deck on the sim, this is the tournament topping deck that did just come out. Vanguard Blue Dofi, middle ranks, so he was the middle player, which means usually if you guys ain't know anything about 3v3s, usually the middle player is usually the best player or the most knowledgeable player when it comes to, you know, what's in the meta and just matchups in general. So that means he was pretty much the captain. He also won this 3v3. And this is the deck list, and he is also running 4 of the new buggies as well, with 3 of the 10 drop buggies. You could usually run this just by dropping this and bouncing a card back, or you could really just summon this if you have 4 bodies on the field. But everything else looks pretty much the same. The only new card that was added was this card right here. So if you guys do want to try out this brand new buggy deck with the support that it ended up getting with this broken freaky buggy card, go ahead and do it now. This is the deck list. So now let's go ahead and get straight into the top 10 decks of the OP09 meta. So now let's get into all the deck lists for that chart we just ended up seeing for the past 5 to 10 minutes. At the top left, you will be seeing the placement of each deck and how they are in the OP09 meta. So in this case, Dofi is number 1, so there should be a number 1 number at the top left. After we're done doing the top 10 decks, you're going to just see Rogue, or you're going to see a whole bunch of shiesty ass deck lists such as Bello Betty, such as you know, Red White Sabo, Yamato, Reiju. We have some shiesty shit in here for everybody, so we have a lot to cover. So we're just gonna skim through this as fast as possible so we can, you know, this video isn't like an hour because I don't want to sit here for an hour. So this is a topping Dofi list from 10-12, and these are all the most recently won tournaments for all of these decks as well. So we have Blue Dofi. This is from 10-12. So this is also from the 3v3 placement. And honestly, a lot of these Blue Dofi decks kind of look the same. You run a 4 Jinbei, 4 Gekko Morio, 4 Draco Mihawk. He is also running the 2 Pudding. I've been seeing some people bump this up to 3 just because it's such a strong card against a lot of things in the meta. 4 Weavile, 4 Crocodile, 4 Boa Hancock, very strong card as well. He's actually opting out for the 4 Marshall D Teach. I've been seeing a lot of people, you know, up in arms. Maybe you should run 2, maybe you should run 3, maybe you should run 4. But this, a lot of people in the East seem like the 4 Teach is definitely the wave to go. You're running the 2 Gravity Blades and the 2 Perfume Fumers. I'm not sure why he's not running 3. Maybe it's because if you use this card, you're pretty much giving up your whole entire turn. But yeah, pretty basic Blue Dofi deck. As long as this card right here is in the meta, you will always have a pretty easy time. You know, you just have a really pretty easy time. Fact, not an opinion. So this is the Blue Dofi list. Let's go on to the second best deck of the OP09 format. So the second best deck of the format, sitting at 456 points, is Purple Luffy. Like I said earlier, if you guys do want to play a deck that's going to be shiesty for OP09, Purple Luffy is definitely the way to go. We are running the 2 Queens. We're running the 2 Captain Kids for blockers. We are running the 4 Bond Clays. So this deck's going to be pretty expensive just off rip by just looking at some of these cards. 4 Bond Clays. I think this card already off rip is like $20-$30 for us in the States. He's running the 3 Charlotte Linen. I told you I know my ratios, gang. I told you when it comes to this Purple Luffy deck, you need at least 3 of these Charlotte Linen just because you're always taking your life to get the leader effect. He's running the 4 game-ending Usopps. He's actually running 4 Sanjis right here. That's actually crazy. He's running 4 of these Sanji, 5-drop Sanjis, pretty much getting a free plus when you summon this. He's running 4 of the Sorojuro, 4 of the Luffy Toro. And this is the reason why this deck has gotten so much of a big increase of play, is because of this Monkey D Luffy right here. This Monkey D Luffy, you guys see it on the screen. You may return 1 or more Dawn cards from play to your deck. Draw 1 card, then this character gains rush for the turn. So being able to have a 10k rush on your 9 Dawn turn, very shiesty. You probably, especially since you're playing purple, you could speed this up and probably be able to play this deck, this card probably at like turn 3 or 4. So very, very shiesty. We also are playing the game ending Sanji right here. He is also just playing this Usopp and 1 of these Usopps. And the only reason why he is playing this 1 of these Usopps because this is a 4 drop at 6k power. Very shice, very shice. That's actually very, very strong. Very, very good card. He's only playing 1 of those. He is running the 4 Trafalgar Law. This is also another card that came out of OP09 to push his deck up to the next level. Very shice, very shice, very shice. He is also playing the Gomo Jet as well. And the main thing I want to speak on is this card right here. This is the card that I told you is probably one of the most broken purple cards in the game when it comes to events. Counter Dawn -2. You can discard 1 card from your hand. If your leader is Straw Hat Crew type, up to 1 of your leader or characters get a plus 4,000 power during this battle. then draw 2 cards. So not only is a plus 4,000 during battle, but he also gets to have some stuff to his hand as well. Very, very nice. This is the second best deck in the OP09 meta, sitting at 456 points. Let's go ahead and get straight into the third best deck of the OP09 meta, gang. So the third best deck of the OP09 meta is none other than Black Rob Lucci, sitting at 407 points. I'm going to keep it a stack for you guys. Once Buggy starts really seeing play, I feel like this deck and any other black deck is going to start taking a backseat, just because Black has a hard time dealing with blue. But let's just go over this Lucci list. I don't think anything was added from OP09. Yeah, nothing was added from OP09. This is literally an OP08 list. So we have 3 Jack, we have 4 Tempest Kick. He's running the 4 Ice Age, 1 Husu. I see some people running 2, but 1's good. He is also running the Stussy. I see a lot more players running this Stussy in this deck. And 4 Brook, 4 Lucci's, 4 Rebecca's. He's actually only running 1 Sabo. I actually don't know if that's good or not. I mean, does he have any other blockers? He's actually only running 1 Sabo. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. At least need to run 3, to be honest with you. Probably take out a Stussy and, you know, maybe this 6 King's Gum. I don't know who cooked up this list, but he ain't cooking because he only got 1 Sabo topping. This is actually coming from a first place. This actually had a 96 players, which is actually a lot too. I'm not even, this is crazy. If you guys can tell me below why he's running 1 Sabo, let me know below. He is also running the 4 Khalifa. This is a pretty much an OP08 deck list, y'all. So let's not waste our time on this anymore. Let's go ahead and get straight to the third best deck of the OP09 meta. So the fourth best deck of the format is Red Shanks, sitting at 372 points. Fourth best deck of the OP09 meta right now. And if you guys are just taking a hard look at everything kind of looks the same. You're playing this Ronor Zoro, the 3-drop 5k power. This has always been a staple. You're running the Tamba, 3 Silvers Riley, just having some type of popping in the deck. Very, very shiesty. This is the main reason why this deck is actually really good. Just having a blanket red hair Shank Searcher, very, very strong. And this is also good in red, purple Uta as well. Very shiesty. He is also running the 4 10-drop Shanks that was released in OP09. All your opponent's characters receive a negative 1,000 power. So this deck is very shiesty. I played against this deck, and this actually hurts a lot of decks, to be honest with you. This is like a buffed up version of Vegapunk. No, I keep on calling him Vegapunk. Foxy. This is like a buffed up version of Foxy. The only difference is a 10-drop, 12k power, Yonko status, and it also has rush while dropping your opponent's power. So this is like a cracked version of Foxy, the 7-drop. He's also running the Silvers Rally. This is also from OP09, a blocker, very, very shiesty. This card right here is actually one of the staples and glues of the deck. This allows you to remove anything that has some blanket protection against any black decks, and that's the reason why black is probably going to fall out of the meta, especially once Buggy starts really coming into the meta, just because of the blue and this card as well, just being able to trash anything. So that blanket protection that Sabo provides pretty much just goes out the window with this Bim Backbone. Very, very crazy card. And yeah, just Shanks in general is really, really good. The main card I really want to talk about is this Gold D Roger. If you guys have not seen it yet, spoilers, sorry, not sorry, I don't care. We have to look, we have to provide you guys the sauce. 10-drop, 13k power slash rush. When your opponent activates a blocker, if you or your opponent has 0 life, you win the game. So pretty much, if you are playing against a deck that has 0 life all the time, like Monkey D Luffy or whatever the case may be, they can no longer activate their blockers. This is a very, very big problem with a lot of decks, and just being able to have this blanket win condition is crazy. A lot of people are saying this should be banned, but like I said earlier about Gecko, about Pudding, about Gravity Blade, about everything else, every deck needs a broken card. Red hasn't gotten any support for the past 3 or 4 sets in. And I'm completely fine with that. I'm completely fine having this Gold D Roger, because like I said earlier, Red hasn't really gotten anything for the past 3 or 4 sets. So this is the 4th best deck in the meta. Let's go ahead and go straight to the 5th best deck of the OP09 meta. The 5th best deck of the OP09 meta is BY Luffy. Okay, this is Flacco's deck. If you guys want to play what Flacco's playing, this is the same exact list I'm playing, but just minor changes. BY Luffy in OP09 is sitting at 5th place, 351 total points. So we are at 5th points. I'm actually surprised he's actually even doing this well. I'm not sure how well this deck will hold up when it comes to Buggy entering the meta, because it is a blue deck. A blue pretty much just shits on our chest. Fact, not an opinion, but nonetheless, let's just go straight over it. We're playing the 4 Hioris. We're playing the 4 Ivankov. If you guys did not see the finals from the recent Bandai event in the OP09 meta, Ivankov was doing work. I actually started teching in the Ivankov, so if you guys did see my deck list, I did change it up a little bit. I only changed 2 cards. Instead of the 2 Kingdom Comes, I replaced it with 2 Ivankov. He's playing the 4 Sabo, 2 A's, 2 Makino, so everything kind of looks the same. The 2 Kuzans. The 2 Kuzans, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about, bro. Even the Bandai winning tournament playing BY Luffy is playing the 2 Kuzans. 2 Kuzans is definitely the move, definitely the wave. I feel like 4 is a brick, and the only reason why people play 4 now in BY Luffy because you're a whole bunch of followers, a whole bunch of sheep. Y'all don't think or even try to make a deck list on your own. You guys just see a list on the internet and just copy because you guys don't have no creative bone in your body. That's what I'm starting to think. You guys need to start opening up your box of creation and start trying out different ratios. You never know what you might like. Okay, so, and that's exactly what I did, and that's the reason why I'm running 2, he's running 2, because higher level thinkers always think the same. Fact, not an opinion. And the only thing that's different in this list is this 4-3 Brothers Bond. I'm not a fan of playing 4 personally. Just because after a certain point, after you have every single name in the graveyard / trash, there's really no reason to use this card. So if that is the case, I'll rather be able to have another accessible card, and the card I would replace with this, like I said earlier, this is a flex spot type of choice. You could run the 4 Brothers Bond, or since you have 2 extra cards, you could use the Finger Pistol, you could use the Sabo, you could use the 2 Kingdom Come. In my personal opinion, I'm using the 2 Ice Ages. Okay, I have to run the Kuzan with the Ice Age, I have to do it, but this is a flex spot. You guys don't need to run 4, you guys can just run 2, and you guys can run 2 of whatever card you want. You want to run the Borso, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so all that being said, this is the 5th best deck of the format. Very, very shiesty. Let's go ahead and go straight to the 6th best deck of the format, gang. Let's get it. So the 6th best deck of the format is Bonnie. I've been telling you guys right now, Bonnie has been seeing a resurgence of play, and I'm telling you right now, if you guys want to play a green deck, I know green is pretty trash overall, but this is a very, very shiesty ass deck that you can use in OP09 and OPO 8.5, since we are getting structured decks this week. We have the Jewelry Bonnie. Of course, you guys already know what this does. Rest the opponent's character. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, a lot of this deck is pretty much the same except for this card. This card comes out with the structure deck. This card is pretty much replacing Zoro. Being able to have some KO features in this color is very, very good. Being able to have a 9-drop 11k power beat stick is actually crazy as well. This is a great addition to the Bonnie list, and we can actually run this whole entire deck list as soon as the structure decks release. So if there's something that you're really interested in this deck, you can go ahead and do it. We have the green Dofi, the 10-drop Dofi, pretty much bird caging, stopping everybody from becoming active on the opponent's turn. Very crazy. We are running the 2 Basil Hawkins, the 4 carrots, like I said earlier. Okay, Flacco knows what he's talking about. When I ended up just doing the regional port in our last video, I told you 4 carrot is always needed. Just being able to freeze a character without even any Don investment, you just have to attack, is crazy. And I feel like people in the East are starting to realize that, and that is the reason why this carrot is now ran at 4. The carrot is now ran at 4. This is actually part of the championship topping list as well. This is what won the Bandai, event over the last weekend. And yeah, everything is pretty much the same. If you guys do want this list, go ahead and copy it. Just copy the ratios right here. And yeah, Bonnie, very shiest ass deck with the structure deck, just adding this Shanks right here. So this is the 6th best deck. Let's go ahead and get into the 7th best deck of the OP09 format. So the 7th best deck of the OP09 format is Blackbeard. Okay, I'm gonna keep it a stack of you guys. This did come top 4, as you guys can see, 10-2. Very, very strong deck. I think this was, yeah, this deck actually won the Bandai event on top of the Bonnie and the Blue Doflamingo deck. Okay, so this did come top 4. I'm pretty sure this was the best deck, the topping deck. If you guys don't know what Blackbeard does, it pretty much just makes you not play the game. Okay, if you guys don't know what a floodgate is, welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Blackbeard is a walking Yu-Gi-Oh! Card and a one-piece printed card. Okay, Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent's on-play abilities don't activate. And now if you tie that in with this Marshall D Teach, okay, not only is this a Yonko, so he has 12k power, 10 drop blocker on top of activate main once per turn. If your leader has a Blackbeard Pirates type and this character was played this turn, negate the effects of up to one of your opponent's leaders during this turn. So pretty much turning off your leader effect. So pretty much if you're playing a Nell, if you're playing BY Luffy, you can't play the game. Then negate the effect of one of your opponent's characters until the end of your opponent's next turn, and that character cannot attack. Pretty much just freezing your opponent's characters. So this card is crazy. The biggest thing of this deck is pretty much to stall until you can get this card out onto the field, because usually when you get this card out on the field, you pretty much just won the game. I'm not really too sure how this, well, the deck really just functions like I just said, not slow playing, I'm so used to people slow playing, but pretty much trying to wait until turn 8, 9, 10, or Dawn 8, 9, 10 to pretty much spam this out. You have some cost reduction in the Ice Age. You are also running this brand new stage in OP09. You may trash 1 card from your hand the rest of the stage. Look at the top 3 cards. So this is a search as well. He is also running the finger gun. The main reason why they are running the finger gun, because for board removal, is really not that much board removal in this game. This is a blocker. I'm not really sure what this does. Tell me what that does below, but there should be one more card that's actually really crazy that he's actually not even running. Okay, so yeah, he's not even running it. So he is also running the Jack. Jack has always been a staple in this deck, just being able to have an activate main and being able to have some type of popping on the field. Very shice, very shice. And just being able to also have this Van Augur activate main. You get to draw 1 card, cost reduction, and you know, just very shicey. And that's the reason why he is running finger gun, because if you guys haven't noticed, with finger gun, they really don't have a way to have any type of board removal. Okay, Blackbeard is played very differently. And another card that people also run is this right here for some type of cost reduction is this Laboon. Very shicey deck. This is also one of the hardest decks to play. People are saying in the OP09 meta that this deck and also BY Luffy is the hardest deck to use in the meta at the moment. So if you guys do want to play this deck, I advise you to play this deck right now, just so you guys are already prepped and ready for OP09. So this is the 7th best deck of the OP09 meta. Let's go ahead and get straight to the next deck, gang. Let's get it. So to surprise everyone, the 8th best deck of the format is Yellow Enel. We are sitting at 169 points. 8th best deck of the format. We have Enel. I'm actually very surprised Enel is even up here, bro, because Blackbeard literally just fucks our bitch, to be honest with you. Let's just go over this real quick. We had 2 Shirahoshi. It looks like we went down with Shirahoshi. People usually run 3 or 4. He's going down to 2. 4 Cat Staple, 4 Beiges, 4 Yamato, 2 Anami. He actually went down to that, which is fine. We probably got some more support, or he's opting out to run some different techs. He's running the 2 Flampy, very good as well, because like I said earlier, you probably don't want to be flamping all the time. When I played Enel, I ran 2 Flampy, 4 Shirahoshis. The main reason why he's probably running 4 Shirahoshis because there's so much board removal. Just being able to have this on the field, and if they do end up removing this, you can replenish your life. Very strong card, very strong blocker, and it gives you a turn 2 or turn 3 play as well. Very shicey. 4 Frankie, 4 Monkey D. Luffy's, 4 Aces, 4 Namis, and the newest card out of everything is this Kuzan. I'm telling you, I'm preaching. I'm hoping one day we actually get a black and yellow Kuzan character that'll be shicey. 4 drop, 5k power, brand new card. You may place up to one of your opponent's cost 3 or lower characters on the top or bottom of the life face up. Your opponent trashes 1 card from the hand, so allows you to trash a card from the hand, and you also get to get a peep at what their life is looking at, and everything else is pretty much the same. With the 4, you're the one that's disappear, and the Kingdom Come. Very shicey ass deck. I'm really happy that Enel is actually showing up. This is the 8th best deck of the format, and now let's go on and get straight into the 9th best deck of the format, y'all. Let's get it. So the 9th best deck of the format is Purple Black Luffy, sitting at 111 points. This is the 9th best deck, and I'm honestly, y'all, I'm actually surprised. I'm actually really surprised. Everybody's saying this is going to be the 2nd or 3rd best deck. That looks like that's not the case. It is now barely in the top 10. This might be the pudding of the top 10 for the OP09. If you guys don't know what this deck does, you guys see it on the screen. Dawn ×1, all your characters get +1 cost. Your turn, once returned, when 2 or more Dawn cards are returned to the Dawn deck, add up to 1 Dawn card from the deck as active and add up to 1 more as rest. So very shicey ass deck. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I think there's something inherently wrong with the purple black combo because this is a cracked leader and it's barely in the top 10. We can just see what they're using. We're running the 3 Kaido for Rush being able in games. We're having some life replenishment with this Charlotte Linlin. We're running the game ending Usopp right here. We're running the broken Black Maria because why not? It's broken. I think this is a brand, no, this isn't a brand new card. This is the Shiki. If your board has 8 or more Dawn, draw more cards. So this is a hand wrist shuffler as well. This is the new OP09 card we already went over with the purple Luffy. We've been over this. We didn't go over this. Don't know what this card does. If you guys know what this card does, let me know below. And he's actually running this new Frankie card. This is actually a very, very strong card if you guys are looking to play OP09. Okay, this is the new Frankie purple card. It's a blocker. Dawn -2. You can discard 1 card from your hand, draw 2 cards. So being able to cycle out your hand just by subtracting 2 Dawn from your field is very shicey. And he is also running the Gecko. I mean, if you are running black, why not run Gecko? But even with the fact that he is running Gecko, it's still barely in the top 10. So I don't know how we feel about this deck. He is also running this broken card. Like I said, if you are running purple, this is a staple card that always needs to be run. He is also running the Gum Gum Thunder from OP09. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. 2 costs as well. -2 Dawn, very shicey. And he is also running the 4 Sanji. This deck is just really not showing up, y'all. If you guys do want to play Gear 5 Luffy, you guys can, but just to be honest with you, it's barely in the top 10. And with Buggy probably going to have a rise, this actually might end up getting replaced. So this is the 9th best deck of the format. Purple black Luffy sitting at 111 points. Let's go on to the next and last topping deck of the OP09 meta. So the 10th best deck of the OP09 meta is the People's Champ Red Purple Luffy. I know a lot of people are excited to hear this. This is the 10th best deck in OP09. So a lot of people are saying, oh, this deck is really doing too much, whatever the case may be. False. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is the 10th best deck of the OP09 meta. Fact, not an opinion. We're sitting at 5-0 flagship placement. So every single list, like I said earlier, is a list that's the most recent one that's topped a tournament. So we're sitting at Red Purple Luffy. You guys already know what it does, and everything else is pretty much the same. 4 Bon Clay, we have the 4 Sanji, 4 Usopp. If you guys haven't noticed, a lot of these purple decks are using a lot of the same cards, so we're not even gonna waste our time. He is also opting out to run the crazy Monkey D. Luffy, the 9 drop at 10,000 power. Very shice. He is also running the Searcher for the Nami. He's running this dragon. I'm telling you right now, if you guys have not picked up your dragons, you need to pick this up because Shanks, periodically rotates this card in. But if you are playing Monkey D. Luffy, you can't play RP Luffy. Okay, you cannot play this deck without having his dad in the damn deck. Fact, not opinion. So go ahead and pick up this. He is also running 4 of them, so go ahead and pick this up before it goes up. He is also running the broken purple Gum Gum Giant. Like I said, if you are running a purple deck, you always need to be running this card. And if you are running a purple deck, you always need to run this card. And he is also running 3 of this Yasop. It's an OP09 card. You guys see it on the screen. Up to one of your leaders gain 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. When attacking, up to one of your opponent's characters getting -1,000 power during this turn. So very shicey. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm actually happy this deck is even in the meta. It does kind of shit on our deck for BY Luffy, but this is the People's Champ. Everybody loves this deck. Everybody's been waiting for this deck to be strong. And on top of that, just being able to be a 6K leader is unmatched. So this was the top 10 decks of the OP09 meta. The video's not over yet, y'all. I always like covering some jank shit for our jank players. Let's go ahead and get straight to the jank list for the gang. Okay, let's get it. So the first jank list that we do have right now is the purple blue Reiju. There's a lot of big fan purple Reijus out there, and this is actually sitting at, when I'm looking at this list, this is sitting at 17 points, so barely any points. I'll have it on the screen like I've been doing for everything else, 17 points. But like I said, this is a skillful deck. It's a lot of effort has to go into this deck to be played precisely, and a lot of people don't want to spend that much work in thinking. They'd rather play something that you could just turn off your brain, like Blue Doflamingo and play. So this deck is still topping, just not as as much compared to all the other decks. Let's go over here real quick. And this, like I said, this is OP09 list as well. So we are running the 4 Ichichis. We are running the 2 Judges, pretty much a Gecko 2.0. We are running the Nijis. Honestly, bro, this deck honestly looks the same as what I just covered in the last video. 4 Black Marias, 2 Kayas, 4 Stage. To be honest with you, this deck pretty much just looks just like my last deck. Only difference is that he is actually running the 4 drop Ichichi. A lot of people cut the Green Ranger, but in this particular list he ended up adding it, and I don't blame him for adding this because it does add another form of protection with the blocker. Okay, you can no longer just do aggro with everything else being so much faster. You do need some protection, and that is the reason why he did end up add the Yanji as well. And that's also very shicey as well, because if you have all these in the grave, you get to bring back 1, 2. He is actually not running the Sanji. Okay, so you get to bring back 3 of your 4 Rangers. So very shicey, very shicey Reiju deck for all my Reiju players. Let's go on to the next jank list for the OP09 meta. So the next jank list, you guys see it on the screen, is Blue Yellow Queen. Yes, you heard me right. We got some jank for the jank players. We are sitting at 10 points only, but it doesn't matter how many points this deck has. The fact that it even has points is actually crazy. Blue Yellow Queen, YGOD. You guys already know what we doing over here. We have the 4 Sanji being able to put any big body back onto the top of the deck. We have the 3 Perona. We have the 3 Katakuri. I mean, if you are playing a yellow deck that's not BY Luffy, you're always going to be running this, just like how you'll always be running this Capone Beige, probably one of the best counters in the game on top of this Nami. These 2 cards are very shicey. We are also running the 4 Yamato, and honestly, the main reason why you want to run this deck is not because of all these other cards, but it's really just because of these 2. The fact that you can run these 2 cards, Gum Rock and also Gravity Blade, makes this deck viable. I feel like anything that can run blue, or mainly Gravity Blade, you will be a tier 2 deck in my opinion in the OP09 meta. Very shicey ass deck. If you guys do want to copy this list, you guys see the ratios, you guys see the cards, go ahead and tap in, tell me what you guys think of it. But Blue Yellow Queen is here for all the jank players. Let's go on into the next deck list, gang. Let's get it. So the next deck we have is another fan favorite, and it is Red Yellow Betty. I've been hearing a lot of people asking for deck lists for OP09 so they can practice it. This actually came first place at a flagship with 64 people. Not bad for a flagship. But this is the Bello Betty deck list that everybody wants to try out. You got the Lindberghs, you got the Ivankov being able to have some power increase at 7,000 power. Actually, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I really don't even know what this deck really does like that, because I hardly ever see it, and I have not played test against it. I'm just showing you what the deck does. Let's see if we can see any new OP09 cards. He is actually playing the Raise Max. Last time I seen this was actually in what's it called, the RP Laws. So this is actually shicey seeing this. So this is a brand new card, Blocker Kazuru. I don't know what the initial card is, but it's a 3-drop blocker trigger. If your leader has the Revo Army type and the total of your and your opponent's life cards is 5 or less, play this card. So you get to play this card for free off trigger. Very shicey. Another card from OP09 is the 6-drop Koyola. On play, blocker, you may add the top or bottom of your life card to your hand, play up to 1 character with a cost 4 or less in the Revo Army type from your hand if you play the card this way. Very shicey card. And these are all the brand new 09 supporting cards. Okay, we have this Kuma. I'm still waiting for my yellow Kuma leader, Bandai. When's that happening? You got the trigger right here. Very shicey ass card. I think this is another 09 card. If you have 2 or less life, draw 1 card. And he also has a pretty crazy trigger as well. And another good card that's ran just for the event is this Ivankov card. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really play this deck, don't really know what this deck is really about, but this is a fan favorite deck. I'm showing you guys the sauce of what's being ran in OP09. So if you guys do want it, like I said, the numbers are right here, just type it in. And yeah, let's go on to the next deck. So another YGOD member that we do have that's really still been showing up is Green Yellow Yamato. Green Yellow Yamato is actually running havoc right now in our current OP08 meta right now. And on top of all that, it actually has some toppings in the OP09 meta as well, sitting at 15 points, 1 point since its last update. So Yamato is still a very solid choice. When we just look at everything, nothing was really added. This is an OP08 list. Maybe the only one that was added, nope, that's from OP07. So yeah, everything is pretty much the same. And I just went over 2 Yamato lists already, so I'm really just not gonna go over it. I'm really just going over it so you guys can see the ratios at the bottom. If you guys do want to try out this list, he is the only shicey thing that he is running is this. I've been seeing a lot more yellow players run this. Just being able to have a way to recycle your hand, very, very shice, very, very shice. He is also running the 3 aces. I am a big fan of this because late game, you can just clean up with the Hody Jones, the Zoro, and this ace. This looks like a very, very hyper aggressive list with everything he's running with the Zoro, the Hody Jones, the flame split, being able to have some border removal, and the 3-drop ace as well. Very shice list. Yamato, for all our Yamato players that's getting the hype right now, you guys can still play this into OP09. So the last deck we have for our OP09 meta report has to be this red yellow Sabo. We are sitting at, actually, let's see if this is even having any tops. Yeah, it doesn't have any tops. Actually, no, it's red Sanji. Yeah, so clearly this red yellow Sabo has 0 tops. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all. So, you know, it's okay. A lot of people still want to try out this deck. So let's go and just show you guys what the OP09 meta is looking like for this red yellow Sabo. Everything kind of looks like the Bello Betty. A lot of the cards are kind of looking the same. The only difference is that he is also running, this is a new OP09 card. On play, add up to 1 character with the Revel Army type from your hand face up to your life. Then if you have 2 or more life, add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand. So very shicey card. He is also going out for the Revel Army champ himself, Monkey D. Dragon. Like I said earlier, if you are a red player, you should always have a playset of these. Fact, not an opinion. Very shicey card, being able to end off some games. He is also running the 4 Sabo, just being able to put a life card in your hand and then giving this character an extra 1000 power. It's very decent. I'm not really sure why he's running 4. Maybe he's on some you know, maybe he's just cooking. He's just cooking. He is also running this Kyola. We already went over this, and we are also using this new Bello Betty. We already went over this. So if you guys like this OP09 meta report, I feel like this might be the best one we've ever seen in the streets. Okay, I think it may be. I think it may be. If you guys want to see more OP09 meta reports, just ask the Asian Bear on Twitter. You know, an update maybe every 2 weeks, and we can probably just have something we can cook every 2 weeks. Okay, look, that's all I got. If you like the OP09 meta report, you guys already know what to do. Actually, you don't know what to do. I'll tell you what to do. Look, before I go, if you're feeling the vibes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It all gone.